Kaladin stopped in the doorway, then knelt beside Lirin. As the man reached toward his tray of tools, Kaladin picked it up and held it at the ready, his old position as his father's surgery assistant. The new apprentice was helping with wounded in another room. Lirin eyed Kaladin, then turned back to the patient, a young boy who had a bloodied bandage around his arm.
Scissors.
Kaladin proffered them, and Lirin took the tool without looking, then carefully cut the bandage free. A jagged length of wood had speared the boy's arm. Lirin palpated the flesh nearby, covered in dried blood. It didn't look good.
Cut out the shaft and the necrotic flesh. Cauterize.
A little extreme, don't you think?
Might want to remove it at the elbow anyway. That's going to get infected for sure. Look how dirty that wood is. It'll leave splinters.
You'll be fine. I don't see any rot spren yet, and so we're not going to take the arm off. Let me talk to your parents. For now, chew on this.
Lirin gave the boy some bark as a relaxant. Together, Lirin and Kaladin moved on. The boy wasn't in immediate danger, and Lirin would want to operate after the anesthetic took effect.
You've hardened. I was worried you'd never grow calluses. But you've also become one of them.
My eye color doesn't change a thing.
I wasn't speaking of your eye color, son. I don't give two chips whether a man is light-eyed or not. What you've become is a killer. You solve problems with the fist and the sword. I had hoped that you would find a place among the army's surgeons.
I wasn't given much of a choice. It's a long story. I'll tell you sometime.
I don't suppose you're going to stay.
I need to follow this parshmen.
More killing, then.
And you honestly think we shouldn't fight the Voidbringers, Father?
No. I know that war is inevitable. I just didn't want you to have to be a part of it. I've seen what it does to men. War flays their souls, and those are wounds I can't heal. We are surgeons. Let others rend and break. We must not harm others.
No. You're a surgeon, Father, but I'm something else. A watcher at the rim.
Words spoken to Dalinar Kholin in a vision.
I will protect those who need it. Today, that means hunting down some Voidbringers.
Very well. I am glad you returned, son. I'm glad you're safe.
Life before death, Father.
See your mother before you leave. She has something to show you.
Kaladin frowned, but made his way out of the healing chamber. His activities had drawn quite a crowd of people who had gathered in the small entry hall before the steps. He intended to ask if anyone had infused spheres, but was interrupted by the sight of his mother. She was speaking with several young girls and held a toddler in her arms. Kaladin stopped at the foot of the steps. The little boy was perhaps a year old.
What's she doing with it?
Kaladin, meet your brother. Some of the girls were watching him while I helped with the triage.
A brother?
It had never occurred to him.
She'll be 41 this year, and a brother.
Kaladin reached out. His mother let him take the little boy, hold him in hands that seemed too rough to be touching such soft skin. Kaladin trembled, then pulled the child tight against him. Memories of this place had not broken him, and seeing his parents had not overwhelmed him. But this, he could not stop the tears. He felt like a fool. It wasn't as if this changed anything. Bridge 4 were his brothers now, as close to him as any blood relative. And yet he wept.
What's his name?
Oroden.
Child of Peace. A good name. A very good name.
Behind him, an Ardent approached with a scroll case.
Storms, is that Zab?
Still alive, it seemed, though she'd always seemed older than the stones themselves. Kaladin handed little Oroden back to his mother, then wiped his eyes and took the scroll case. People crowded at the edges of the room. He was quite the spectacle, the surgeon's son turned slave turned shard-bearer. Hearthstone wouldn't see this much excitement for another 100 years. At least not if Kaladin had any say about it.